What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. Happy Mother's Day to everybody's mothers out there. Hope everybody's having a great day with your loved ones and whatnot, and your moms, and hope everybody's getting treated well. But the Mavs and the Suns played today, and the Mavs tied the series at 2-2. And after the first two games, this series looked like it was in trouble of being a sweep because the Suns dominated those first two games, but the Mavs bounced back and handled business on their own turf and won two games pretty convincingly. Pretty convincingly. They've kind of handle the games from start to finish. And, I want to give them some credit. Specifically, I want to give Dorian Finney Smith some love for today. That man was a flamethrower. He hit 8 threes. I couldn't tell if that was Dorian Finney Smith or Steph Curry out there. The man was just heat checking and splashing. It was crazy. Obviously, he's rebounding and defending at an elite level. He deserves a ton of credit. I want to give him some love because he's an underrated role player, and I think he's getting some shine today, and I think that's deserving because he played fantastic. I think the team has played a different style of ball in these last two games, and it's more team oriented. And because Luka's amazing, he's always going to get his, but it can get kind of condensed on offense when Luka's the only person that's really controlling the ball a lot. So they needed to be more they needed to get coached up a little bit more to having Brunson have the ball more and Dinwiddie and kind of rotating Luka off the ball more so more people are involved, because obviously Luka's still going to get people like open shots. He's going to create looks, but it's the rhythm of these guys. Brunson needs the ball at some points to get his rhythm. Dinwiddie needs the ball to get his rhythm. So it spaces the floor out a little bit, gives everybody else in rhythm, makes the offense flow a little bit better, and then Luka's able to get his anyway because he's so damn magnificent as is. I think the biggest difference though in these two wins that the Mavs have had is the defense has flipped a switch, because one, they're locking down more on Chris Paul and trying to make sure that he can't get off. Obviously, Chris Paul fouls out tonight, or today, I should say. It's an afternoon game. Chris Paul fouls out, so he doesn't really even get a chance in the fourth quarter to even try and make some sort of comeback. Booker was Booker. 35 points. The man was fantastic. He always is. He's a great player. But they've kind of gone with the idea we need to eliminate one of them. And obviously they're kind of betting that Ayton's not going to torture them, and Ayton in these two games did not really torture them in the post, which is Ayton needs to step up and do that if the Suns want to be able to be a legit threat, obviously, to anybody down the line. The Mavs defense has just flipped all the way over, because now they're like, all right, we're at least kind of limiting Chris and making it to where everybody's not getting wide open looks. I think in the last game that they not today's game, but the game 3, the Suns only took 23s or something like that, because they were just getting blitzed off the line every single time. And that's a defensive effort and rotations just being completely on point and maxed out. So I think the defense has switched just the entire complexion of the series, because I've said before in a previous Mavs video, when I said that I thought they were very dangerous, this was maybe 2 weeks ago, a little bit less than that. The reason I said that they were dangerous is because they're able to defend at a high level. And anytime you can do that in the playoffs, you're going to give yourself a chance to be competitive in games. So even if your offense isn't on fire or something like that, and you're able to keep the game manageable because your defense is keeping the other team's offense in check, it gives you a fighting chance, as to where in the first two games where the defense was horrible, they didn't have a fighting chance. I never really felt like they were in either of those games, or realistically going to win those games. These last two games, the defense has been on point, and as a result, I've been yeah, they should win these games because they're playing the better team right now. Obviously, today the team is just bombing threes. I in the first half, I was I don't even know if they missed, because I think they hit 12 or 14 threes or something like that in the first half, and I think it was 12, and they shot it at 60 something percent or something. That's not sustainable over a long period of time, but great defense is sustainable. So that's why I think the defense is so important, especially when the defense is on point and you're mixing up the ball handlers. Dinwiddie's getting his. Dinwiddie had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, had a nice game. Brunson had 18 points, I think, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He had a nice game. Luka didn't shoot particularly well, but he still had 27, 11, and 8 or something. Let me fact check that. Sorry, it was 26, 7, and 11. I inflated his stats a little bit, but forgive me. The guy is basically averaging what I said, or at the bare minimum. That's kind of what he does. And continuing with the defense here and switching how it switched the complexion of the series. The last two games, I think the Suns have scored 94 points and 101 points for a team that has as many weapons as they do, because Booker is insane on offense. Chris Paul is one of the best managing point guards in the entire league I've ever seen. Michael Bridges can create his own shot. He can shoot threes. Cameron Johnson can shoot. Jay Crowder gets open. DeAndre Ayton's a force in the paint. They have a lot of different weapons that they can go to. and holding a high powered offense like that is so like, they have a ton of chemistry. Holding them down like that is, it just shows how glaringly great your defense has been. And I really love that, because defense is what wins championships. And if you want to be taken seriously, you have to play defense. Jason Kidd after game 2, because Luka was getting picked on, because we all know Luka's not a fantastic defender or anything like that. But you can tell the effort on defense wasn't like his attention to the detail on defense wasn't really there in those first 2 games. And Kidd kind of called them out in the post game. He's saying like, look, like he has to man up and like basically take the challenge. Like he's got to at least participate, I think is what he said. He has to try. Like he said the same thing that was Dirk, when Dirk was in his prime, was getting hunted on defense because he wasn't really putting in the effort to really play defense. So teams knew they could pick on it. Luka in these last couple games has at least put in some effort there. And that's why I think you're seeing a partial change, because obviously he's still not going to be like a lockdown defender or anything like that. But all you can ask for is that your leader is at least trying there, because then it trickles down to everybody else. Now you got Dinwiddie doing it, Brunson, Dorian, even though Dorian Finney Smith is always playing defense. Even Bertans is kind of trying. Speaking of Bertans, he hit like 4 threes in like 5 minutes. Like the role players matter on championship teams. It can't just be 1 or 2 guys dominating the ball every single time and people just kind of like getting in where they fit in. Like it doesn't like relate to success in the long run. It's okay in the regular season. Like you can get to the playoffs doing that. But like teams that are super like centric on 1 player or 2 players and not really getting others like different looks and everything like that, like they don't have success. But the Mavs in these last 2 games have made sure to not run into that wall. They're kind of making sure everybody's getting theirs. The ball's moving, the defense is flying around. They're being aggressive on the boards. I think they've been. I'm gonna check their offensive rebounds in the last couple of series, because it feels like they've been dominating that. Last couple of games, I should say. They had 10 offensive rebounds today in game 4. Phoenix had 12, but Phoenix is the bigger team. So that's going to happen when you have 2 7-footers like Ayton, McGee. And then I guess you can throw Bismack Biyombo in there too, because they're going to get after it. So I think, as long as you're at least competing on that. And then the game 3, the Suns had 9 offensive rebounds and the Mavs had 8. But for a team that's playing so small like that, you have to be able to at least put some pressure on the glass like that. And I think that's really helped kind of switch the offensive momentum, because it's not just one and done every single time now. They're fighting for extra possessions, and especially in a long playoff series, those extra possessions, they add up over time and they take a toll. They're making the other team work harder, because now instead of defending for 20 seconds and doing it well, now they have to defend for 30 seconds because you have an extra 14 or something on the clock before you shoot. I love what this team is doing right now. It's a 2-2 series. I don't know where it's going to go, because I personally think the Suns will probably bounce back, and I think they're too talented to not bounce back. Obviously, the Mavs defense has been fantastic, and I like I said, I think it's sustainable. But sometimes there's great defense, and sometimes great offense beats great defense, and I think the Suns are kind of due for something like that. But I don't know what's going to happen here. I think like Luka's 3 ball has not been on point for majority of this series, so he could get that going and counter it. Brunson could have like another game like he had in game 3. I just think it's really hard to predict, but it's a lot of fun if you're a Mavs fan, because you're at least contesting what was the best team in the league this season, and you're showing that you guys deserve to be where you're at, and why you guys are such a fun team to watch, because defense, good coaching. Luka's a superstar. If you're looking at anybody that's under 25, he's probably the first guy you're drafting at building a team around, and I'll stand on that one. That's who I'd probably rock with. And then you get guys like Dorian Finney Smith, who 8 threes. That's game changer. It just changes how the playoffs go when your role players step up and elevate themselves. So I think this series has been fantastic. These last 2 games for the Mavs. If you're a Mavs fan, you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this kind of content, please like the video. Man, Mavs defense, that stuff is legit. It is legit, and the other guys are getting involved now. They're stepping up, and I think that was the big key in order to being competitive in this series. So we'll see how it goes. It's 2-2. Could be a 6 or 7 game series. We don't know. We'll find out. It's gonna be fun though. I'm done here. Peace.